Well, good morning, everybody, and thank you for being with me today for our devotion. We are in the book of Numbers, chapter 20. Chapter 20 in the book of Numbers, and frankly, there's a lot in this chapter. The people complain again. What else is new? Moses sins, and he pays for it. The Edomites, who are descendants of Esau, Jacob's twin brother, refuse to allow the Hebrew people to pass through their land on the way to the promised land. Both Miriam, Moses' sister, and Aaron, the first high priest, who was Moses' brother, both of them die. A lot goes on in this chapter. Now, devotionally, I want to speak on a few verses, starting first at verse 2. There was no water for the congregation, and they assembled themselves against Moses and Aaron. And the people thus contended with Moses and spoke, saying, "If only we had perished when our brothers perished before the Lord. Why then have you brought the Lord's assembly into this wilderness for us and our beasts to die here? Why have you made us come up from Egypt to bring us to this wretched place? It is not a place of grain or figs or vines or pomegranates, nor is there water to drink." Then Moses and Aaron came from the presence of the assembly to the doorway of the tent of meeting and fell on their faces. And the glory of the Lord appeared to them. Here's my question, because this scenario is repeated multiple times in Exodus and Numbers, Leviticus. Here's my question. Why is it that the people, every time there's a problem, spend all their time complaining and none of their time praying? Did you notice that? They're always complaining, never praying. What does Moses do most of the time? He goes straight to God in prayer. Why is it that so many times, so many of us, we love talking about our problems, our challenges, we love talking about it and complaining. Don't pray. I've often said if Christians prayed as much as we complain, the world would be a different place. Some of us, if we prayed as much as we complain, our lives would be very different. Another devotional thought found at verse 7. The Lord spoke to Moses, saying, "Take the rod, you and your brother Aaron, and assemble the congregation." And there have been previous times when God told Moses to strike a rock with the rod and water came out of it. But this time, God says something different. Verse 8, God says to Moses, "Speak to the rock." Speak to the rock. Don't hit it with a rod. Speak to the rock before their eyes, in front of all the people, that it may yield its water. And you shall thus bring forth water for them out of the rock, and let the congregation and their beast drink. So Moses took the rod from before the Lord, and just as he had commanded him, and Moses and Aaron gathered the assembly before the rock. And he said to them, "Listen now, you rebels. Shall we bring forth water for you out of the rock?" Oh, he's talking about himself, not God. Then Moses lifted up his hand and struck the rock twice with his rod. Water came forth abundantly, and the congregation and the beast drank. Verse 12, but the Lord said to Moses and Aaron, "Because you have not believed me to treat me as holy in the sight of the sons of Israel, therefore you shall not bring this assembly into the land which I have given them." Moses let his emotions get the better of him. This is one time that he was angry and actually sinned, disobeyed God by hitting the rock with the rod rather than speaking to it as God had instructed him. And it cost him. He didn't get to go into the promised land. Later in our Bible reading plan, God takes Moses to the top of a mountain, lets him look across the Jordan River and see the promised land. But Moses never gets to set foot in it. He dies on top of that mountain, and God buries him. I've done that. I imagine you've done that. We've allowed our emotions to get the better of us, our frustrations, our anger, whatever it is, and we make bad decisions. We've all been there. But I have to say, as leaders, as parents, got to be careful, because reacting when you're emotional and when you're angry is not always a positive thing. One last simple devotion. In verse 12 that we read, what bothered God, it wasn't just the hitting the rock with the rod or the failure to speak to it as he being instructed, but what that symbolized. In verse 12, the Lord said to Moses and Aaron, because you have not believed me to treat me as holy in the sight of the sons of Israel. This is not talking about just living holy. This is talking about in public, in front of other people, treating God like he really is holy. How do we honor the holiness of God in public? By obeying his instructions, by doing what he says. That's how you honor God in front of people. Follow his instructions, obey him, do what he says. That's today's devotion. I'll see you tomorrow, brothers and sisters, as we look at Numbers chapter 21. Have a great day, and God richly bless you.